like to share with you one of our library pets today, and this is Truman. Now Truman's real name is Tommy Truman Tortue, but we call him Truman for short, and Truman is what we call an eastern mud turtle. Now Truman was donated to us from a local elementary school, and that teacher actually had him for 34 years. Now these guys can live up to 50 years if they're well taken care of. Eastern mud turtles are semi-aquatic turtles, which means they spend most of their time in the water, and you can find them in a large geographical range. You can find them in the states of Alabama, Arkansas, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, Missouri, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. In fact, in the state of New York, they're an endangered and protected species, and you're not allowed to keep them as pets. This is Truman's home. Truman has a tank at the Springville Road Library, and as you can see, we have gravel in the bottom. We have a dock that he can climb on for basking. There's plants in his cage, and there's even a little cave where he likes to hide. Now, Truman can be a bit shy. Let me see if I can scoot around so you can see his cute little face. He likes to hide, but after a while, he'll get used to us being here, and he'll come out and socialize. Well, you little turkey, he's gonna go hide from us. Silly Truman. Truman can get into some pretty tight, small spaces, and he can flip himself around there and poke his head out just to see what we're doing and check us out the same way that we're watching him. Now, as I said, with proper care and treatment, these guys can live up to 50 years, so we could have him for a really long time. They're referred to as stink pots, and that's because he can secrete a stinky, oily residue if he feels threatened or afraid. Now, most of the time, a mud turtle's not going to do that in captivity, but if they do, it's best that you know that that's a possibility so that you're not surprised by it. They're not very colorful. They're kind of drab, brownish gray, or black looking little turtles, and they're a small variety of turtle. They usually grow from about 2.5 inches to about 4.5 inches when they're fully grown, and their shells are oval and kind of smooth. Now, a turtle shell has different parts. There is the plastron and the carapace, and then there are also something we call scuts. So, what are those parts of the turtle? The plastron is the lower shell, and on this particular turtle, it's a yellowish brown color and has dark markings. The carapace is the upper shell, and it's usually got a space between that's fairly broad. They call that a bridge. And the scuts are actually the scaly plates that you find on their back that make up their shell. Now, most turtles have 12 of these scales that make up the back of their shell. But Truman and other mud turtles only have 11. 11 on the top and 11 on the bottom. His head usually has a little bit of yellow streaking, and the males have longer, thicker tails than the females. In fact, the males generally have a spike on their tail, and they also have these hard, bony ridges on their back legs. Truman is not going to come out and see us anymore, little turkey. I'll take his lid off and you can see him closer in a moment. Now, eastern musk turtles are very similar to eastern mud turtles, but they're a little bit different. They're kind of like kissing cousins. And in their habitats, they are found in calm, shallow waters. You might find them in wetlands or ponds, ditches, rivers, streams, and even in some drainage ditches. They prefer water that has a lot of vegetation or plants, and they like it kind of murky or dark because it gives them a sense of protection. Now, unlike most reptiles, including other turtles, the eastern mud turtle doesn't bask very often, so it's kind of rare that we see Truman on his little dock over there. Every now and then he'll get out and sun himself, but for the most part, these guys like to stay under the water. Mud turtles are what we call omnivores, which means they eat meat and plants. They eat a variety of insects like crayfish or tadpoles or mollusks, and usually things that you can find in or around the water, crickets, worms, things like that. but they also like green leafy vegetables. We can give him fresh parsley or dandelion greens, salad greens, but it's best not to give them iceberg or romaine lettuce. It's not very good for their tummies. Now, eastern mud turtles can lay eggs, and when they lay eggs, the female will lay between 2 to 5 brittle little eggs. They're usually kind of a yellowish white color, and they'll leave them in their nest throughout the summer. It takes about 100 days for an egg to hatch out of the nest, and the babies will remain in the nest until the winter or spring of the following year. So they stay in the nest for a really long time. Now, the little turtles look cute, but don't assume that they're calm and friendly turtles. In fact, turtles can be very unpredictable. They're not hard to take care of, but Truman can be a little on the grouchy side. He has a little bit of a curved beak on his mouth, and if he feels nervous, he can snap at us. So it's always important to pay attention when picking up your turtle. And it's best not to pick them up or touch them unless it's really necessary. Part of that is because aquatic turtles can carry a bacteria called salmonella. And salmonella can be transmitted to humans. So if you were to handle your turtle and not wash your hands well, it's possible that it could make you sick. So these turtles are better suited for older children who can properly care for them and remember to wash their hands. They're not usually good pets for younger children. Now, despite their small size, they need a fairly large tank. And as you can see, Truman has a pretty good house. They need room to swim or dive under the water when they feel like they want to. And the gravel will help the tank stay a little bit cleaner. Floating dock is important. And also there should be areas for your turtle to hide. Now, your turtle needs some form of light. UVB lights and heat lights will help keep your turtle warm because these guys can't regulate their body heat. As you can see, we have a large heat lamp on top of his cage, and sometimes we'll put a UVB light up there to help him soak up, quote, sunlight, kind of like we do when we go outside. It's very important for them to get vitamin D3 like we get from the sun so they can absorb calcium. Now, there are some common health problems for turtles. The most common is poor shell health. So dirty water and incorrect lighting and an inappropriate diet can lead the shell to flake or even deform and can cause shell rot. A quick trip to an exotic vet can help you sort out any issues your turtle might have. So be sure to keep an eye on them and let your vet know if you're experiencing any problems. I hope you've enjoyed meeting Truman. We're going to try to see him again and see if he'll come out so that you can get a good look at him. Let me get to this side of his cage. I'm going to remove his cave so that you can get a peek at him. There he is. So that's Truman. I hope that you've enjoyed meeting Truman. Say hello, Truman. Truman says, come to the library, check out books. There are lots of books about turtles and other pets and their care, and lots of fun stories that you can read and share with your friends. We hope you've enjoyed all these fun facts about Truman and invite you to come join us again when we visit another one of our pets. Hope you have a great afternoon and happy reading.